So we need to be.
Good morning, everybody. We're going to start the press conference here. Want to introduce Sheriff Will Griffin, Sheriff of Henderson County. This is Deputy Chief Baumstark with the Asheville Police Department. Joining us also is District Attorney Greg Newman and my counterpart, PIO Christina Hollinsley from Asheville Police Department. So we'll kick this off. If y'all have any questions, feel free to ask these gentlemen as we proceed. Thank you all.
Start? Chief.
Sure. Good morning. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can you put him?
Good morning. My name is Jim Baumstark. I'm a deputy chief from the city of Asheville. Yesterday at 4:28 p.m., the Asheville Police Department received a 911 call regarding the kidnapping of a mother and her 7-week-old baby from the Dearborn Street in Biltmore Park, which is located in the city of Asheville. Asheville police responded and saturated the area and immediately began gathering information and suspect vehicle information. Detectives were able to ping the mother's phone, and it located back into Henderson County, at which point the Asheville Police Department contacted the Henderson County Sheriff's Office for assistance.
Who called 911?
So we are in the process. North Carolina general statute protects caller identity. We are in the process of getting those transcripts. We are in the process of getting the 911 call transcribed, and upon request, we can make those available as early as Monday.
And so wasn't the mother who called 911 herself? Can you confirm that at least?
We can confirm that it was not the mother that reported the incident to 911.
Sheriff, I think you have the helm.
Yes. I'm Henderson County Sheriff Will Griffin. Yesterday, at approximately 17:30 hours, 5:30 p.m., we received information from the Asheville Police Department concerning an investigation they were involved in about a kidnapping. The information we received said that they had pinged the victim's phone, and it showed the victim to possibly be in the east area of our county on Grant Mountain Road. We immediately sent vehicles, officers to that area, and while they were en route at approximately 1740 or 5:40 p.m., we also received a call from a resident in the area of Rhodes Mountain Road. Rhodes Mountain Road intersects with Grant Mountain Road, and at that intersection sits a church known as Barnwell Baptist Church. Supposedly, a resident had found a car abandoned at the end of Rhodes Mountain Road. Rhodes Mountain Road is a kind of a remote gravel private drive that extends between a 1/4 and a 1/2 mile up off of Grant Mountain Road. As units were arriving in the area, the first unit encountered a female that approached him from Barnwell Baptist Church. That female was identified as Krista Madden, who was the mother that was the subject of the kidnapping report. Krista advised at that point that she had escaped, and we also sent units to check for the vehicle at the end of Rhodes Mountain Road. They did discover the vehicle that was abandoned. The vehicle was later determined to be Krista's vehicle. An investigation then ensued in Henderson County involving detectives from the Asheville Police Department and the Henderson County Sheriff's Office. Miss Madden was transported back here to the Henderson County Sheriff's Office to make sure that she was okay and to interview to see what kind of suspect information that we may be able to obtain. We deployed 2 different tracking certified canines at the scene that worked about a 40-yard circumference area in all directions around the abandoned vehicle. At that point, we picked up no indication that there had been anyone in the area recently except along Rhodes Mountain Road. As this investigation continued, at around 1952 hours or 7:52 p.m., we received a 911 call from the Fowler family on Slick Rock Road. Slick Rock Road is a rural paved road that runs between Chimney Rock Highway and intersects with Grant Mountain Road. The 911 caller told us that they had found a baby that had been tossed over a bank. So we responded, arrived within minutes, and located the baby that was confirmed to be also the subject of the kidnapping. From information that was gathered at the scene and information that we obtained during the interview, we have now charged Krista Noel Madden, 35 years of age, from Asheville, with attempted first-degree murder.
So during the course of the interview, did she admit to leaving her baby?
She provided, I don't want to get into all the details because this investigation is still ongoing and still, in an incipient stage, but she did provide enough information about her involvement that gave us the probable cause that working in conjunction with the district attorney, as we made contact and came to the conclusion we would move ahead with the attempted murder charge.
So her story about the two people, the man and the woman, one with red hair or whatever, all that stuff, that was a lie.
At this point, we don't believe that to be factual at all.
None of that.
None of that.
All a hoax.
At this point, we have no reason to believe that that's based on any fact.
This baby was 7 weeks old, correct?
That's correct.
Was there any indication that this mother had any issues postpartum leading to her mental state that you are aware of at this time?
I can't give information to that simply because I don't have that information to provide right now. As I said, this investigation is still ongoing. What I will tell you is this family that discovered the child, the Fowler family, this was, it simply, in my opinion, by the grace of a merciful God, that we had a female that goes to check her mailbox. She really believes she hears the faint cries of an infant. She summons her husband, who is a self-employed grading contractor. He arrives in the area, descends about a 75-foot into a 75-foot ravine to find the child along with a car seat over the bank.
What kind of condition is the baby in right now?
I can't give you a specific update. I do know that the child has been admitted, but it's my understanding that the child is in very good condition at this point.
So you believe that the child was thrown over a 70-foot bank in the car seat?
Correct. That's our belief at this point.
The child was actually in the car seat.
Okay, when the child was discovered, the child was out of the car seat. However, the indications lead us to believe that the child went over the bank in the car seat. After it hit the ground, subsequently the child rolled out of the car seat.
Can you kind of just visually speaking, I mean, we're talking about a 70-foot ravine, so this was a 75-foot drop that this child fell into? It
was at least 50. I'm estimating 75 foot down into a ravine.
I mean, that sounds pretty miraculous that baby, if it was not strapped in, that it didn't fall out before. I mean, what do you say to that?
It's exactly what I said a moment ago. It's by the grace of God. that we're standing here with a child that's been discovered and is alive.
You're charging her with attempted murder, so you clearly think she's the one who threw the baby over the ravine.
All indications at this point lead us to believe that she was the one, and all indications at this point lead us to believe that she acted alone.
And the ravine, I'm just trying to imagine it. Is it next to the driveway of the home, or how would you describe it?
This is a really nice area, like I say, kind of in a remote part of the county, real rural area. The driveway is kind of a circular drive with another branch of that driveway actually leading to the residence. The driveway in question is probably at least a couple of, just the circular part is a couple of hundred yards long, and the ravine sits in the middle of that circular section of this driveway. So although it was adjacent to Slick Rock Road, it was off the road quite a bit.
How do you spell her name? Krista, Christa? How's it spelled?
That's what I have.
And Noel, Nowell?
I have Noelle.
I have Krista on your warrants.
That's correct.
That's correct. I misunderstood. I thought that's what he
One more
had
time,
said.
what is correct?
Krista.
And the last name is Madden?
That's what I have. Yes.
And what's the daughter's? Shaylee?
Shaylee, but I don't have the correct spelling on that in front of me.
Shaylie.
And Sheriff, can I get your name so I have it right? I'm from out of town.
Lowell Griffin.
L-O.
Wellell. Griffin.
And Deputy Chief?
So Jim Baumstark, Baumstark.
U-M-S-T-A-R-K.
And this might be a question for you, Chief Baumstark, but going back to that original 911 call, so you got a call about a potential kidnapping initially. Is that correct? Is that what that original call came in as?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, correct.
No, you're fine. And then Sheriff Griffin, you said that your 911, you guys got a 911 call as well from the family that found the baby, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. There's multiple 911 calls. There was multiple moving parts to this investigation, as well as we had multiple agencies involved, and that's something we'd like to do. We want to thank all of those agencies that provided the resources to help locate baby Shaylee. We especially want to thank the Asheville Police Department because their initial actions, everything they did was textbook that put us in the area that I believe helped lead to a successful outcome. But the assistance from fire departments, from EMS, it just shows the collaboration and what we can accomplish when we put our heads together.
Do you think the name of the baby's last name was also Madden? Do you know? It is?
Yes, that's
Okay.
correct.
And go ahead, because I lost my.
Have you interviewed the husband, and was there any indication that he thinks his wife may have had postpartum depression?
I am not prepared to speak to that. I will tell you that we have been in contact with the family, but I'm not prepared to speak about the interviews that have taken place. I don't have that information, the correct information in front
Is
of
the
me.
baby in state custody or in family custody at this point?
At this point, just due to the significance of the incident itself, I know that Buncombe County DSS is involved with the case, and at this point, that's going to be a question for Buncombe County DSS and not law enforcement.
And the mother, she's in custody.
She is currently in custody and was served with the warrants last night. My understanding, she's under a $750,000 secured bond. Should be appearing in front of a judge today for her first court appearance.
Do you know what time?
I'm not exactly sure what time. District Attorney Newman, do you have any indication as to what time?
Probably about an hour.
Probably about an hour.
And so, I understand that you, Sheriff, that you don't want to talk about the substance of the interviews, but tell us who you interviewed. You interviewed her husband?
I know that that we had detectives that spoke with her husband. I can't speak to the fact if APD had detectives that spoke to her husband. We also had detectives that were directly involved with the interview of Miss Krista Madden, as well as the Asheville Police Department detectives directly interviewing Miss Madden. As far as others that were interviewed in this case, I can't speak to that at this point.
So do you think that there's going to be any other charges following? Because my initial question about that call, if someone else reported a kidnapping, like, was there someone else involved, or was it simply that she gave misinformation to that caller?
I don't want to, because of where we're at in the investigation, and we want to make sure, again, that nothing hinders this investigation, that we provide too much detail. There will be further detail down the road, but I will tell you this, that all indications are that the 911 caller actually believed at the time that she had been kidnapped. However, all information that we have indicates the direct opposite, that there was no kidnapping take place.
So is she going to be charged on with lying to police? Or
That's
That's, it's still under investigation. We're assisting the sheriff's office, so obviously we'll work with them in the local DA.
so charges are not, there could be more charges coming?
Correct.
Okay.
And I understand you don't believe that the caller was trying to mislead anyone, but who was the caller?
That's something that was
So
led to
we covered that
before.
before you walked in, Joel. If you send us an email, we can provide you with a transcript of that call. We won't be providing information on who the caller is pursuant to North Carolina General Statute.
Which one is that? There's one that we can have, and the one you're gonna give us, I guess, is the one with
The one that's coming from Asheville is the initial call regarding the reported kidnapping. That's the one that the Asheville Police Department can provide. Henderson County can tell you what 911 calls they might be able to provide.
Okay.
Has the mom apologized at all or indicated any sign of regret or sympathy?
That goes back to part of the interview that's really a part of the criminal investigation, and I'm not prepared to disclose any of that information at this point.
Does the mother have any kind of criminal record? I'm sorry if that was asked already.
That has not been asked. I have no indication of that, but I don't have any firm records in front of me.
You can contact the clerk of court's office to acquire her full criminal record if one exists.
Do you know if the mother has any other children, and if so, are they in protective custody at this time?
There again, from the crimes that have occurred in Henderson County, I don't have that information. However, I do know, again, that falls back to DSS. Buncombe County DSS is involved in this case, and that would be a question for Buncombe County DSS.
I will tell you all that we will be sending out a redacted 911 copy of the call that came in where the family located the baby. So that will be, I'll send that out to the email list or the group serve there. I'm going to wind it down just very shortly. Mr. Newman, do you have any questions? Does anyone have any questions for the district attorney at this time? Okay, anybody?
Have you experienced any crime similar to this? Any case similar to this in your history?
I have. It's been a number of years ago, but yeah, I haven't since I've been district attorney here. I mean, I've been practicing law 30 years. I've seen a lot, but yeah, the answer is yes. So where we stand now is Ms. Madden will be brought before a judge, as I said, a little later this morning. Bond $750,000. There may be a request to reduce that or to otherwise modify that in some regard. I don't know. She does have lawyers already. I've been contacted by them this morning, one from Asheville, one from here in Hendersonville. and so they'll be appearing on her behalf. Where we go from here is this, because the case is currently in district court, which is where most cases originate. She will be given a court date where she has the option of requesting what's called a probable cause hearing, and that'll be given within the next couple of weeks. We also have a grand jury that meets though on the 20th, and a lot of it depends on if the sheriff's office is going to be in a position to present the case that day. But we'll be discussing going to the grand jury just as soon as we possibly can. And now, there are going to be any number of postpartum depression has been mentioned twice already this morning. I'm certain that her lawyers will be asking that she be evaluated for a number of reasons. I'm sure that will be explored, and we would expect that sort of thing. And just like the Asheville Police and the sheriff here, we just follow the facts wherever they lead, and then we'll, when we feel like we have what we have in hand, and that everything that has been questioned and obtained has been completed, then we, as we do in every case, we will discuss with our lawyers what we believe would be a proper and just resolution, and we're not even close to that yet. We're just we're, as you know, right on the front end of things here. So there'll be several court appearances in her future, but the case, we will try to move her case from district court, which is where it is today, to our superior court as soon as we're in a position to do that. That's where superior court's where you have your jury trials, and so given the level of felony charged here, the case will only be resolved in superior court. So we'll be moving as quickly as we can to get that case transferred to the court where either ultimately a trial will take place or a plea will take place, something of that nature. We don't know how that's going to be resolved at this point.
Thank you. Who are her attorneys?
Lawyer from Asheville is Sean Devereaux, D-E-V-E-R. Many of you may know him, D-E-V-E-R-A-U-X, Sean Devereaux. Here locally in Hendersonville is Jason Blackwell. And I don't know which, if both, or I think Mr. Blackwell will be appearing this morning. I don't know if Mr. Devereaux will be here or not, but they're both, they'll both be counsel of record.
If she is suffering from postpartum depression, the murder charge is inappropriate then, right?
No, not necessarily. If you look throughout the country, if you track these, it's sort of gone both ways. And there are other factors that weigh in on this, but it's been held in some cases, and I think of a couple in Texas the last few years where they has not negated criminal liability. So there are a lot of factors to be considered, but I'm sure that issue will be looked at, but that may not be the only one. But I would expect that it would be, and there may be other psychological issues that are looked at as well. But a lot of people deal with a lot of issues when it comes to psychosis and so forth. But the law is real clear. As long as you're competent to, competency means you understand what you're charged with and you can assist in your defense. There may be any number of things happening that you explain why somebody did what they did. It doesn't necessarily excuse it. But we consider all those things, of course. I mean, we should, and we do.
And we'll do one final question. Okay. Well, thank you all for attending.